morning, class. Happy Wednesday. Today's learning target for May 6th is to explain the impact of the Industrial Revolution, as well as identify the background behind why the American Revolution happened, which is the next revolution we'll be talking about in this unit. So our agenda for today is first you will record your kind of debate presentation. After that, we'll take some notes on the background behind the American Revolution, and then your work after that will be to fill out a worksheet analyzing a couple of primary source documents from a group of people known as the Loyalists. So your homework for today, first, turn in your recording of your debate. That is due by 3 p.m. today. Second, there is a primary source analysis worksheet that is due tomorrow at 10 a.m. Reminder that the debate recording is a quiz grade, and this primary source analysis worksheet will be a homework grade for you. So first, for this formal presentation, this quote, debate, end quote, question you are debating on and explaining in your presentation is, did the Industrial Revolution achieve progress from a Christian perspective? Just a couple of reminders for you before you record your debate presentation. One, the format for this debate starts off with an opening statement. So you'll give your title slide and then your opening statement, which will consist of what your definition of progress is. Remember, you're considering that definition from a Christian point of view. Second, you are clearly stating your claim, so whether or not, yes, the Industrial Revolution did achieve this progress, or no, whether it did not achieve that progress. And once again, you can't answer that question until your definition is clearly explained and described first. And then you need to just list, not explain or describe, just list what your 3 or more key arguments and ideas are for why you think the way you do. That's the opening statement part. Your presentation, and that doesn't matter how many slides all of this takes, there's no rules for that. But the next portion of your debate presentation is arguing your claim. So you will describe your 3+ key ideas. These are the 3 main reasons why you think the way you do. So you're not just listing them, now you're describing them as well as supporting them with evidence, and multiple types of evidence ranging from stats to personal stories to expert opinions to just logic and reason. Don't forget that anytime you use evidence that should come from a source, simply copy and paste the source in the speaker notes where it occurs in the presentation for that slide. So just put it in the speaker notes and then I will see them later. Remember your expectation to have a minimum of 5 of them that are reliable, and at least 2 different types of evidence out of the 4 you can choose from. Also, don't forget that you're not just telling me the reasons and telling me the evidence, but you are explaining them, connecting them, and referencing them back to your overall claim. Please make sure you do this consistently and clearly. Always remember what exactly you're arguing for. Don't stray too far away from the overall topic and claim that you're trying to convince me of. After you're done with that, you will end with a short closing statement. You'll restate the key ideas from your definition to the claim to what your 3 key reasons were, but maybe do that in a different way so it's not too repetitive. Don't forget also not to add any new information. All the information you should need should be happening in the opening statement and argumentation portion of your presentation. Just so you know, I would recommend that you use something called Screencastify to record your presentation. When you record it, I am not looking to see your face. No offense, you are beautiful people, but I just want to hear your voice and see the screen, not see your face. So Screencastify in the top right corner of your Chromebook is a button that looks like an orangish, pinkish, kind of arrow looking button. You can click on that. It limits you to 5-minute videos. There is no time limit for this debate, so if you need to record 2 videos because you used up all the 5 minutes in the first one and you still weren't done, that's fine. Just record a second one and pick up where you left off. I definitely don't want to have more than 2 videos. If you're doing this for over 10 minutes, it is way too long and you've got to be more concise with your arguments. If you want to use a different way to record your presentation, that's fine by me too. Most students use Screencastify. That seems to be the easiest way to do it. Let me know if you need help and I can show you exactly how to use that. So that's due 3 p.m. today. That's a quiz grade. So whether you want to finish this video first or if you want to quick do your presentation first and then resume this video after you're done is up to you. But we're going to take some notes on the background behind the American Revolution. You already should have learned this in 8th grade for U.S. history, so we are not going to talk about the American Revolution for very long, but we are going to bring it up because it connects to other revolutions that happened later. So the American Revolution happened against the British. At the time, this blue shaded regions all over here are all part of the British Empire. There's the saying that the sun never sets on the British Empire because it covered all these different parts of the world, and it's only going to grow from here during this time period. Right? This is a map from 1713. The Revolutionary War doesn't happen for another 60 plus years. So Britain was a global powerhouse at the time. It's got an empire that covers many different continents all over the world. Why did Britain have this power? Well, one, it's located right here and it's in an ideal location for trade. It is next to the Atlantic Ocean where you can trade with the Americas. It's not next to the Mediterranean Sea, but it's not too far away. You can just go across the Strait of Gibraltar up here and trade with Britain there, and it's connected to places like France and Spain and Germany, etc. So it has a lot of trade, not to mention the fact that after it gets this empire, you can trade with all those places too. It was successful in war, whether that's defeating the Spanish Armada or otherwise. It had taken over lands in present-day Canada, Nova Scotia, and Newfoundland. It had won the French and Indian War, is how we know it in the United States, but it was globally known as the 7 Years' War. And like we talked about, it defeated the Spanish Armada. It was better than France's navy. It had the strongest naval sea power in the world. So when you're the most powerful in war, you're going to take land, which means you're going to gain power. It also took control over places like Scotland and Ireland, right next to it as well. So at the time of the American Revolution, King George III was in control of England. He had been going through a 60-year reign that started in 1760. So during the American Revolution, he was over 15 years into his rule. He wanted to restore the king's power away from Parliament and the Prime Minister. So today, like the Queen of England doesn't really have any political power. The power belongs to Parliament and the Prime Minister. But before what it looks like today, there was still this tug-of-war battle between the monarchy and then Parliament over who had power in England. And we talked about this a lot in the Age of Absolutism too. So what he did in order to get that power was he appointed his buddies, his friends, to take spots in Parliament, and his buddies would be loyal to him and support his policies. They'd kind of have like their own alliance working together to help the king grow stronger. He also chose to tax the colonies because the more money you have, the more power you have. The reason he chose to do this was because the British protected the colonies during the French and Indian War, which once again is known globally as the 7 Years' War. And he figured, well, we just fought a war protecting the colonists, keeping them safe. The least they can do was pay a little extra tax to help us pay for the war that we just fought for them. This is going to lead to the American Revolution, and it's eventually going to lead to loss of his power because I think most of us hopefully know that the colonists defeated the British in the American Revolution with just a little bit of help from the French. So what I would like you to do is read a couple of primary sources from a group of people known as the Loyalists. The Loyalists are people who were loyal to Britain at the time of the American Revolution. So in this primary source, you've got this worksheet in which you need to consider the source of the primary document, the argument that the source is trying to make, the reasons for why they think the way they do, and you need to consider what the opposing view would be, both sides of the claim. So not just the loyalist side, but the opposing side that is for revolution. You may do this by yourself if you'd like, or if you would like to work with a partner, that's totally fine by me too. And when you are done, Don't worry about this whole check-in thing. That was something you would have done if we were actually in school together. But this is due tomorrow 10 a.m. This is a homework grade. All I ask is that if you work with a partner, you can share the document, that's fine. But when you're finished, make a copy of the document and make sure each student turns in their own individual copy. Also, if you could indicate who you worked with, if you work with a partner. The only reason I need to know that is to make sure that when I grade it fairly and consistently. If you work with somebody else, I can grade them at the same time. That helps me be more fair to you, and it saves me a little bit of time as well. So please let me know if you have questions about how to record your debate presentation or how to complete this worksheet. Once again, presentation due 3 p.m. today, and this worksheet is due tomorrow 10 a.m. as a homework grade. Good luck with the work, and I will talk to you more tomorrow.